So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a topic uh, to demonstrate the manuscript writing capabilities of SciSpace, right? And I have picked a topic which is easily understood by everyone and me as well, right? So manuscript writing comes in a researcher journey when they have, most of the time have completed the research and want to, get a draft ready which they can submit to a journal or a conference, right? So let's take this scenario and work towards that one, right? So the assumption is that you would have already done your literature review, you would have already formulated your research question, done a research towards it and come to a conclusion, right? So at this stage, what a researcher would have is some sort of research notes, right? Now, these could be very well structured or not very well structured, right? So that doesn't matter. So for this webinar, I have picked up a topic, and the title of the topic is Effectiveness of Generative AI Enhanced Feedback on Undergraduate Academic Writing. Okay, so this is just a demo topic. It's not something which I have conducted research on. It is something of a topic which I came across when I was chatting with the SciSpace agent while I was brainstorming about what sort of topic should I pick to demonstrate these capabilities of the SciSpace agent. Right? So I felt that this is a topic which will be interested to everybody. So I have picked up a title and it has helped me formulate a research question as well, which says that does AI enhance feedback, which is teacher plus generative AI assistant leads to a greater improvements in academic writing quality. Okay. When compared to traditional feedback, which is teacher only. Okay. So I have formed some hypothesis saying that AI enhanced section will show larger gains in writing quality. Okay. So I have my primary hypothesis, I have my secondary hypothesis. I defined a methodology where uh, I have supposedly conducted a RCT trial across 4 universities, and I have given some details of the participants. I have a demo list of participants and their scores on this particular RCT, right? I have mentioned what sort of intervention I have done in this RCT. What was the primary outcome, secondary outcome according to my hypothesis? How I have went ahead with my analysis, and what are the results from my analysis? And there is a short discussion on you know, what are the outcomes? So these are the rough notes from where I'm going to start, right? Okay. So before I jump into how to convert these uh, manuscript or these notes into a full-fledged manuscript, I'll take you through the process of how do I even arrive at this point and what are the various ways in which SciSpace can help us, right? So I'll talk about that very briefly. Okay. So as everyone mentioned, right? So SciSpace is loved a lot to do a literature review, right? So similarly, what I have done is I have first ran a query, asked the SciSpace agent to give me papers on generating AI education from 2019 to 2025. So it should give me only the latest papers and it should highlight me the research gaps from these papers, right? So SciSpace agent goes ahead and selects the 4 databases which it feels are relevant to this particular topic. So it used SciSpace for text, Google Scholar, and Archive to find out papers, right? And then what it did is that it combined all of these results and gave me a list of papers, 97 top relevant papers across all of these databases. So it said that, okay, this is the most relevant paper. I'm scoring it 100 on 100. It is highly relevant. So why is it highly relevant is what it also mentions here. It gives me an abstract of this paper. And if I want to know what are the conclusions of these papers or the methods used or any other data point about these papers, right? I can simply go to add columns, click on one of the suggested columns, or I can create a new column for myself as well, right? So this is the basic uh, literature review journey that you can take with the help of the SciSpace Agent, right? Which is very well capable of like finding papers relevant to your uh, topic across all the databases. Okay. So then as a natural next step, what I have done is that once I have understood what all these papers are, I have gone ahead and bookmarked them into my SciSpace library. So SciSpace library is nothing but a collection of papers, right? So as a researcher, we are very well aware of Zotero, where we go ahead and collect the papers that are relevant for a research. Similarly, on SciSpace, what we have is a SciSpace library. So SciSpace library is a AI enhanced version of Zotero, is what you can say, which is much more capable of helping you understand the papers that you are collecting, and organizing them effectively as well. So what I can do is, like, for example, this paper I have already bookmarked in my SciSpace library. Similarly, I can go ahead and bookmark this one. So I have a folder called Gen AI in Education. So I bookmarked it there. So this paper goes ahead and sits in my SciSpace library. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my SciSpace library. You can go to your sidebar, click on my library, and you will be redirected to your SciSpace library. In my SciSpace library, I have all of these folders, and this is the folder where I have been collecting these papers. So here are all the papers. I have collected till now 42 papers. And here as well, similarly, like what we saw on the SciSpace agent, you can add multiple columns here to get extract data from it. So I went a little deeper here for my particular research when I was shortlisting the papers. Instead of just looking at the methods used, I have added some custom columns here. So I looked at the outcome type. So what are the different outcomes that are measured in this particular paper? For example, writing quality, engagement, academic integrity. What have these papers looked at, right? So it tells me for each one of these papers, what has it looked at. Similarly, I have added a column called intervention type. So what kind of intervention was part of this study, right? So I given it some examples so that it can suggest my interventions on these lines. Then I looked at what sort of population was part of this. So since I'm interested in doing a study on undergraduate students, I would like to include those studies which cover undergraduate students and majorly in United States. So this will surface that information for me. And then the last column which I was interested in knowing is what sort of AI tool was used to conduct this study, right? Whether one or more AI tools were part of this. So it should not be that I'm looking at some paper where a generative AI tool was not used. So most of them have been using GPT, some version of ChatGPT or GPT, which is generative AI tool and which correctly fits into the topic which I'm looking at, right? So once I have these set of papers, what I can do is I can either, if I don't want a paper to be part of my research journey, I can go ahead and remove them. Okay, basis on like what sort of data is surfaced here. If I want to dig deeper across all of these papers, I can definitely add some more columns here. And I think some of you have already used extract data as a feature, and this is nothing but that feature which extracts data across multiple papers for you. Now, once I have the uh, list of final set of references which I want to use and go ahead, I can what I can do is I can export these uh, papers in a CSV format. So it will give me the metadata of the paper and all of these columns and their values. So this is what I have done as a next step. So I have the CSV already ready for me. So once I have the CSV ready, what I have done is I have used the SciSpace agent again. Uh, so I have went ahead and attached this CSV to the SciSpace agent and I asked it to categorize these papers according to the themes. So even this, the SciSpace agent is capable of, right? So what I asked is that, I have given it a list of 4 themes. I want it to categorize which theme does each one of these papers belong to. And I asked it to add a theme column tying each paper with one of these clusters and give me back the CSV file. So I had given it a CSV file. I want a CSV file back. So it is very well, equipped to deal with a CSV. So it went ahead and read what the CSV contains, and then it wrote a Python script. You can even go ahead and like read this Python script, what it has written, through which it is, clustering these papers into certain themes. And then it ran this Python script and it gave an output. So yeah, so this is the CSV file. This is now the GenAI papers with themes. So it added a theme column and it has categorized all of these papers into themes. Okay. So now the literature review part of our uh, research is done, and what we have arrived at, and we have conducted also our research by doing uh, the RCT, and we have prepared the research notes. So we have our references ready, we have our research notes ready, right? Then what I have done is I have went ahead and asked the SciSpace agent to generate an outline for me. Now, I have picked a particular journal for this particular manuscript publication, and I have asked it to generate an outline specifically for this journal. Okay. And I have told it what all sections do I want to include in this particular outline. And so I have included introduction, methods, results, discussion. And if I am aware of like what are the typical journal guidelines, I have added them here. If not, then the agent is very well capable of figuring out what type of outline is suggested for such journal, and it will be well equipped to generate that outline as well for me. So at this point in time, what I have done is I have attached the papers along with their themes and also the research notes from the research that I have conducted, right? So one thing is very important here. It is that we know that AI agent is capable of doing anything and everything. But if we want it to do tasks with precision, we should be very well aware of the information that we are providing it. If you try to overburden the AI agent with a lot of information which is unnecessary, then the quality of the output will not be at the same standard. So you have to be mindful when you are providing the data or any sort of context to the agent, right? So the keyword which is prompt engineering has been very popular and people have been running behind it, asking what sort of prompt should I write. Now it has been become more important that you manage the context, which is the context engineering part of an AI agent, right? Since the AI agent is capable of doing anything and everything. So what sort of context are you going to provide? So if you try to, you know, overburden the AI agent with a lot of things, then it is not going to give you the output that you desire, right? So I would say this is a very important tip. This is tip number one. I would give you some more tips as we go along the webinar. But managing the context from the AI agent is very important. So I have just given it an output of the CSV of all the papers that I have collected. The important columns uh, are present in this CSV. Anything that is not related, not important, I have removed those columns and then only have attached this CSV and a short research notes document. So this is enough for the A to guide the AI agent, to prepare the outline. If you don't give the papers, right, the agent is very well equipped to find out papers related to your field and then prepare this outline. You can definitely ask the AI agent to do that. But since this task is already done by you, you have already vetted the list of references and you have painstakingly curated those references, it is always better to add that information to the AI agent, because the work that you as a researcher would be doing, it cannot be matched by any of the AIs, right? So if you have already organized the references, it is always better to attach them here. Okay, so the AI agent went ahead and it first checked all of these files. It read those files. It went through what is present in the research notes and what is present in the CSV. Okay. Then it wrote the manuscript outline for it. So it mentioned what type of journal are we targeting. It reiterated what journal it is, what is the type of article, target length, and the structure. And for each one of these sections, it has specified how many words should the section be limited to, what are the subsections. And since we have already given it our research notes, right, it has for each one of these sections mentioned what should go into this subsection as well, right? So it is very important. So if you had not mentioned like your research topic, what type of research you have done, it would have come up with a more generic outline structure for you. Since you have provided the enough context to the AI agent, it is able to tell you exactly, okay, what should go into your objectives and methods. So here it is able to exactly specify what type of methods will go into this section. Then similarly, it has done for every other section here, the introduction, uh, methods, participants, intervention, and then results, discussion, references, and appendices. Any tables or figures that you want to attach. And it has also provided a manuscript preparation checklist as well. So it you can validate whether it has actually followed this checklist or not, right? Uh, yeah. So some additional information as well, right? So this outline is now very comprehensive. If you pick this outline and start working even after like a gap of months, right? You will have all the correct information that you need to pick from this outline and start working from here. Since we have already provided the necessary context here. So this is the outline preparation step. Then coming to the next step, right? Where we are now going to ask the AI agent to write each one of these sections for us. So I'm starting with from just the research notes and the references, right? You could very well start from a very different starting point. So you might have written the introduction section by yourself, and you are at a stage where you want to refine the introduction section. So the starting points for each one of us could be very different. So depending on where we are starting, it is important to provide that context. So for example, let me explain what I have done here. So in this case, what I have done is that I have provided the research notes, I have provided the manuscript outline, which we have generated earlier, and all the references. And then what I asked is to write a logically structured introduction using in-text citations from the attached references so that it doesn't go ahead and find out references related to this topic. So I want it to stick to only these references. So I mentioned that particular point. And then it is usually not necessary to mention this because the SciSpace AI agent always maintains a formal academic tone. But just to reiterate that point, I have added this. You can just skip this. And then I have clearly mentioned what is the output that I want. I want a full draft of introduction with appropriate section flow and in-text citations, right? So as I said earlier, you could start from a very different starting point, right? You could have a draft. So if you have a draft, you can attach that introduction draft here. Mention that you have already, worked upon a draft and you want to refine it according to the manuscript outline, right? So that could very well be your starting point, right? If since I didn't have a draft ready, this is where I started, right? The SciSpace AI agent again follows the same step, right? So it went ahead and wrote a introduction draft uh, where it then specified what were the key features of the introduction. So according to the outline, what was specified in the outline, it has broken down the introduction into various subsections as well. And here is the introduction draft. for us. Now, if you see here, there is one critical mistake that the AI agent has done, and the mistake is not very apparent. So, if you start jumping from one task to the another task without any verification, these mistakes will happen. So, for example, if I had not read the manuscript outline that the AI agent has generated, I would have definitely missed the mistake that it has done here. So, let me go back to the manuscript outline. So, before giving the manuscript outline to the AI agent to generate the introduction section, I read through the manuscript outline. And what I saw is that it is mentioned in this manuscript outline the type of citation that it has to use. Let me just search it. So here it says that it has to use the APA 7th edition citation for citations and references. And if you see, when it first generated the draft, it didn't use APA citations. Even if I go down, these are not APA citations, right? Now, this is something that it has missed. What I usually do is I put a counter prompt. So, a counter prompt is where I ask it to cross check whether I have specified here whether it has used the suggested citation format, whether it has followed the number of words, whether it has adhered to the subheading that is clearly mentioned in the outline provided. So, since I'm very well aware of what is provided in the outline, I can tell it to cross check these specific sections. You can very well say that, just cross check whether the introduction section that you have provided to me adheres to the outline that I've provided. So this gives the AI agent a chance to cross check its own work, right? So this is something that this is a strategy, and this is the tip number 2 that you can employ when you are working with an AI agent, right? Where you can ask it to cross check the stuff that it has done, and the AI is very well equipped, to cross check the work that it has done. You might have seen this behavior with other LLMs as well. So a lot of us use ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, right? Where you tell where it gives a certain output and where we know for sure that the output is incorrect. For example, let's say you ask it to, calculate the number of hours in a strawberry, and there are certain number of hours in a strawberry, and it tells you that, okay, here are the number of hours in strawberry. And when you tell it to cross check, it is very well equipped to cross check its own answer and come up to a right conclusion, right? So similarly, in this case, where either you know that it has made a mistake, or even if you don't know that it has made a mistake, asking it to cross check always helps. So when I asked it to cross check, it found three critical issues. So one is that it found that the citation format is incorrect. It has added incomplete references. It checked that the subheadings are correct and the word count is also correct. So it was able to figure out what is correct and what is incorrect, and it was able to write the corrected version as well. So if you see, here is the corrected version of the introduction where it started using the APA citation format. Okay. So this is how I use the AI agent to draft the introduction section of my manuscript. Then what I did was I started another thread where I wanted to work with the method section. So one important point before we move ahead with the method section, right? So it has generated an introduction section, and this introduction section is something which would be a very good first draft for you. This might not be the final draft, uh, uh, you know, that you want. Okay. And there would be edits that you want the AI to do. So it is very easy to work with the AI agent here. You can, in natural language, tell it to do something for you. Maybe the background and context section is too large, and you want to reduce the number of words and make it concise. You can very well type a prompt here, ask it to, reduce the size of the background and context section to maybe like reduce it by like 20% and still maintain all the important points. It will be able to do that for you. So maybe you want to change the tone of the introduction section. Maybe you want to remove a subsection from the introduction section. You can very well do that. And if working with the AI agent, it's taking a lot of time and you want to do it manually as well, what you can do is you can download this file into a Markdown format. So Markdown is generally a very basic format through which you can work with text. You will be able to import this Markdown format in any of the text editors and edit this introduction section. Okay. Uh, that is the second option. The third option is that you can copy this introduction section, paste it into a text editor of your choice. A lot of us like to work with Word documents. So you can copy and paste it into Microsoft Word or Google Docs, wherever you are comfortable, and start editing in there and come up to a final shape that is acceptable for you. So that is the third way. And what is the fourth way is where some of you would have used a very powerful notebook that we have, which is the AI Writer. So I can go to my library, and what I can do is I can create a new notebook. So let's say in the notebooks, I'll create a notebook called Introduction. Okay. And I'll paste this introduction here. Name it as introduction. So I won't go into the depths of the AI Writer, but AI Writer is a space which has all the traditional capabilities that any other text editor would have, but it also has a lot of AI capabilities. So for example, what I can do is I can select a piece of text here, and I can ask AI, you know make it longer, or paraphrase it, make it more academic. So it will be able to do that for me, and I can replace this selection. So when I want to do minor edits, I can copy the text which the AI agent has generated, create a notebook, and paste it here and work with it. I will be able to do my own manual edits, or I will be able to do an AI assisted edit sample. So this is a place where the power of both AI and your own human knowledge comes into the picture, and with very good assistance, you can reach to a particular stage for your manuscript, which is very comfortable for you. If you want to make large scale edits using the AI agent, definitely you can continue on the AI agent, ask, give it a follow up prompt, and keep on refining your introduction section. Yeah. Okay. So that's how I would go ahead and prepare the introduction section for my manuscript, right? Then coming to the next section, the method section. So even in the method section, what I have done is I have attached the two uh, documents as context. I have attached the research notes and I attached the manuscript outlines. And I have clearly stated what what it has to do. So always start your prompt with the overarching task that you want the AI agent to do. So a lot of researchers, what they do is they mention the context first, and somewhere in between the prompt is where they will mention that your job is to draft the method section. That is not going to be very effective. The effective way is to mention the task that the AI has to do at the very beginning. You know, so this gives a lot of attention. The AI gives a lot of attention to this, and it will follow what it has to do. Okay. Then I have told it what I have provided. I have provided the structured research notes and what it has to do with the following subsections. So I reiterated some of the points which are mentioned in the outline here, so that the AI agent is attuned to this and it doesn't miss this. So since I saw that in the introduction section, it was not, it was off track. So I wanted it to be very precise here. So I reiterated the points which are mentioned in the outline. What you can also do is to improve the context of the AI agent, you don't need to attach the complete outline of the manuscript to the AI agent. You can very well remove all the other sections of the manuscript. Just keep the result section and attach it here. Because when it wants to write the method section, it doesn't need to know what sort of uh, detailed sections are present in the outline, right? Only if it is helpful, you can keep it. If it is not helpful, then I would recommend that every time, whenever you are attaching a document or giving it any type of context, please rethink whether it is really necessary for an AI agent to work with, right? So I have described all the subsections to it and I have added some notes uh, to it. So one of the notes is that it should not invent a sample size of procedures that are not present in the research notes. So it could very well happen that in the outline, the AI has suggested that there should be a subsection uh, which should get added. And my research has not covered that part and it is not present in my research notes. So what could happen is that the AI agent, when it is writing the uh, section on methods, it could invent that section and write, you know, some text related to it. It could be very generic text, which is universally applicable. But I don't want it to do that, so I specifically mentioned this particular note. Then, as we saw in the introduction section, it went ahead, similarly, read the research notes, read the manuscript, and it came up with a method section. So here is the method section that it has written. Okay. So this here it has followed again the outline structure which was proposed earlier. Even here, what one can do is one can put up a prompt saying that, please cross check the method section that is written and see whether it adheres to the original instructions that I have given, and also does it follow the outline that has been provided. So depending on like what it has done, it will be able to correct itself. If not, if it has written everything perfectly fine, then it is well and good. Yeah. And again, like the same process that we followed for introductions, fits here as well, where you could copy this or take this method section somewhere else, edit it according to your choice, and finalize what this method section should look like. Okay. Uh, then coming to the result section, uh, this is where I have asked the AI agent to do a little bit more work, as compared to the earlier two sections. So, what usually happens in a result section is where a lot of data analysis, a lot of graphs, charts, or tables is what we want to include, right? And in my research notes, I have just written the conclusions that I have arrived from my data analysis, right? And maybe for this particular manuscript, I haven't done sufficient data analysis uh, for this particular manuscript, right? I have done analysis to come to a conclusion, but maybe the analysis that I have done is not very presentable. I have to make it into a form which is very presentable and which could be added to this particular manuscript. So it could be either of those situations, right? And the AI agent is very capable in helping me with data analysis and generating all sorts of uh, you know graphics that are required for my manuscript. So here I have attached the outline, I have attached the research notes which I have done earlier, and additionally what I have done is I have attached the uh, data which is part of my research. So I have AI usage logs and the trial that has been done, right? So I attached both those files. Now, what I have instructed it to do is, in the first statement, I have given the goal. The goal is to prepare the result section of the multi-site RCT manuscript. And then I have given it a special instruction. Now this is tip number 3, which works very well with the SciSpace AI agent. SciSpace AI agent is capable of planning a long-term task. Now, whenever you feel that a task is complicated and should be broken down into multiple steps, you can ask the AI agent to make a plan and then do the task. So this one little statement enhances the quality of the output tremendously. The AI agent might itself decide in certain scenarios to make a plan as well. And there will be cases where it might not make a plan. But if you have time, if you want the AI agent to do it very precisely, use its power, then please add this uh, particular sentence to your prompt in the beginning. Since this section of the journey involved data analysis as well, generating various charts, and the result section as well, I wanted it to follow up with. Okay, so that's why I mentioned this particular. Then I have told it additional things. I told it to go through the manuscript and the research notes, figure out if any tables, figures are needed to complete the manuscript outline, right? So whatever is mentioned in the manuscript. I have also told it if it required perform any data analysis to achieve that, and ultimately write the result section. If while writing the result section, if it feels that if a particular subsections requires a particular type of data or data analysis, then it can go ahead and perform those data analysis as well. And importantly, it should not invent any facts. It might be the case that for a particular subsection in the outline, it has been mentioned that certain type of data should be mentioned or certain type of analysis should be mentioned, but it is not possible with the data that we have collected for this research. So that the AI agent doesn't go into that direction, I have mentioned this guardrail. Then I have told it what sort of data sets I have attached. You can very well skip this, but it is always helpful to give it the important context. So I told it like one is a student level data set, which is present in this particular file, and what are the various columns that are present in there. And then there is an AI usage logs data set, which is present in the CSV file. Okay, now let's see what the AI agent did. Okay, first it read the manuscript, then it read all the author files which were attached. Uh, so we attached 4 files. It used the bash commands and it read all the other files which were present. If it didn't have a particular capability to read a particular file, it is very well capable of installing any sorts of packages on the cloud and read those files. Then when it understood what is the file content and what sort of instructions we have given, it then instructed uh, its own tool, which is the planner tool, to create a plan for it. And what it did, so we are seeing the final state of the plan, but in the initial state of the plan, all of this would be unchecked, where the initial state of the plan would contain all of these sections, and the unchecked boxes where it tells the sub steps of each one of these plans, right? So it has to read the manuscript, load the data set, then it has figured out that there are certain flow diagrams that it needs to build. By reading the manuscript, it has added it as a task for itself. So how should it do this diagram? How should it prepare this diagram? It has again broken down it into 3 steps for itself. Okay, so there is a checklist that the agent has prepared for itself to go about this task. Now what the AI agent does is that to go ahead with each one of this, it to complete each one of these tasks, it will do it will take certain actions, and that is what it has done. So it did the data preparation, it wrote the result section, which were the 2 broad tasks which we asked the AI agent to do. So whatever was required to complete each one of these subtask that we gave it. It used the tools at its disposal and came up with the results. So for data analysis, the AI agent is very well equipped in writing a Python code and manipulating the CSV files that we have given it. So it wrote one Python file to do the results analysis, and it wrote another Python file to prepare the uh, diagrams or charts that we needed from it. Okay, and then it went ahead and wrote the result section. Okay, and whenever it completes a particular step, it goes ahead and updates the uh, to do that it has prepared for itself. So here it decided that it will update the to do, and it would have updated the relevant checkboxes, so that you are also very well aware of what is the progress right now that the AI agent has done. Since we are looking at a result which has already been run, it is not possible for me to show that. Okay. So it generated the PNGs of, for example, here it generated a box plot, here it generated a concert flow diagram, here it generated a site comparison, and it gave all the relevant files for us here. Okay. So there are a lot of intermediate files that the AI agent will generate, but it is very well capable of figuring out what are the relevant files for this task, and will give you at the end of the task. Also, if you go to the output section, you will see that there is a final output and there are all files. So all files will create all the intermediate files and the input files that you have given to the agent. But the output files will contain only those files which are relevant as an output for this task. So we got what we needed. We got all the tables, figures, and all the charts, and also the result section. So there is a result section.md that it has written for us, where it has done the data analysis initially and then wrote the results. So by doing so, uh, the AI agent is adhering to what sort of data has been provided and not making up the data, since it is able to do the data analysis on its own. Okay. Now, similarly, I won't go much into the detail of discussion, uh, as we have seen, like in introduction and methods. We followed a process where we gave the right context and we asked it to do a generate a section for us. Similarly, in this part as well, I have done the same thing. But interestingly, in this part, what I have done is that to write a discussion section of a manuscript, it is important that the AI should know what is the introduction and what is written in the method section. So I added those two parts additionally. So only after I have done the introduction section and the method section according to what I want is when I have started a new thread and asked it to generate the discussion part of the manuscript. So it went ahead and generated the discussion section for me. So this is the discussion section. So it has adhered to the outline which was provided to it, and it has wrote the discussion section. Okay. Now comes to the final part, is where I wanted to write the abstract and the conclusion. So to write a good abstract and a conclusion of a paper, one should be aware of the introduction, the discussion, the methods, and whatever research notes and outline we have, right? So I added all of that context to the agent and asked it to write the abstract and the conclusion section. So it read all of these sections, and then it wrote the abstract and the conclusion section for me. So here is the abstract and the conclusion as well. Okay. So this is where uh, I would usually stop and tell you that your manuscript is done, right? But it is not really done. What we have done is we have created a lot of sections of the manuscript independently, but we have not amalgamated them. So this is where the extraordinary power of the AI agent comes into the picture, right? The AI agent is capable of generating a LaTeX file for you. So in this step, what I have done is where I have brought in the whole, uh, you know, orchestra together, where I have given it the particular sections that we have generated. You might have refined those on your own, added the right statement, right citations, right wording, right keywords to it, and you have generated and come up with a refined output of each one of these sections. So I have added that output. I have added the research notes so that it is very well aware of, like, research notes are a guiding source for it to know, like, in concise what our research is about, right? And then I have added the outline as well here. Then I asked you to draft a manuscript document, a LaTeX manuscript document. And I have told it what I have added. I have also told that it should use text from each section and not use a text from a particular section in some other section, right? So that is something I didn't want it to do. So I added this statement. I also told it that it is okay to compress a particular section, but not expand it. Okay. So to adhere to the word limit of the particular outline, I added this particular section and I didn't want it to add any more new statements. So I told it specifically that it should not expand any of the guidelines. Uh, so it should tell me that if a data is not present for a particular section, I should be aware of it. Let's say in the outline it is mentioned that a particular ABC section should be there, but I have not attached it. It should tell me that that section is not present. And as a note, I told it that I will provide the tables, figures, and charts in the next message so that it can add it to the particular LaTeX document. So using this, it is very well aware of what it has, what it will be provided later, and what it should do if something is not provided. So the AI agent is provided with enough and the right context for it to do the job. Now, as we have seen earlier, the what the AI agent is going to do is it is going to read each one of the files that you have provided so that it understands what is present in each one of these files. Then what it did is that it started writing a .tex file. So instead of writing one full file, it broke down the LaTeX document into multiple sections. So it wrote a main file first, then it wrote the abstract file, it wrote the introduction memo, so on and so forth for each one of this. And then it went ahead and created this uh, main.pdf file. So it combined all of these LaTeX, uh, you know, sections which it has initially created and then finally generated a PDF file. So this is the PDF file. Now this AI agent combined all of it and wrote a fully working PDF file of 44 pages. So here is the abstract, here is the introduction, and so on and so forth. So all the sections that we have outlined in the manuscript outline is what it was able to properly adhere to and come up with a final PDF file. I think this is the most amazing part of the AI agent. Uh, you know, even though I work in day out with this AI agent, but it never stops surprising me. And this is one of the, you know, the part where you can think of, like, how much can we stretch the AI agent to, right? And this is the part where, I feel uh, the AI agent can be stretched to the maximum, right? Generating a LaTeX file, right? Uh, you know, as an individual, when you want to convert something to a LaTeX format, right? It takes hours and hours of practice to understand what that format is, and then write a particular document in LaTeX format, right? But the AI agent is able to do that in minutes for us. So this is something which is really wonderful. Now, similarly, what we followed with other sections where it generated a markdown file, we picked that markdown file and you know uh, we have the ability to work on various text editors, refine it. Similarly, same option is available with the LaTeX output as well. So in all files, you will find the .tx files of main, methods, discussion, conclusions, and a lot of us, a lot of us are aware of like Overleaf or some other similar product where you can make edits to a LaTeX file. What you can do is you can import all of these files to, let's say, Overleaf, and make those minor edits that are required so that your manuscript is finally ready to be submitted to a particular journal or a conference. Okay, so I think we are about time. I have used the complete time, and I hope this was helpful to a lot of you who have joined, and I hope this leaves a positive impression and you definitely give SciSpace Agent a try, not just for the exciting literature review capabilities, but also for its manuscript writing capabilities. Thank you.